I'm so glad you're here listening to the Sustain Your Passion podcast. I'm Genesis, your host and business development expert. If you're ready to make a bigger impact and income while helping others, then you're in the right place. Thanks for joining me, and I can't wait to help you sustain your passion. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Sustain Your Passion. I'm so excited to be talking with someone that has a profound impact on my life in multiple ways. Jessi Romero is an ADHD business coach. We're going to talk about what it's like to grow a business with ADHD, which can be really frustrating when you think you know what you're doing and then your ADHD comes in and knocks everything out of the way. So we are going to share stories and tips and make sure that if you are starting your business and you think you have ADHD, you know you have ADHD, you're questioning it. Hopefully you take away some tip from this conversation to hopefully have a bit smoother sailing experience than I know I did. And Jessi's going to share about her experience too. So Jessi, can you tell folks where they can find you and just a bit more about you and your business before we dive into the topic of growing a business with ADHD?
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you for having me, Genesis. Awesome. Honestly, the best place to find me is really in my Facebook group. And it's called ADHD Female Entrepreneurs Community. New in parentheses, because I got hacked like a year and a half ago and had to start my Facebook group from the ground up again. But I've surpassed that. I think we're at 20. Oh my gosh, I think we're at 21,000 members now. Cool. But when my Facebook group got hacked, it was at like 13,000. So so you can find me there, and you can go to my website, www.adhdfemaleentrepreneurs.com. And that's where you can find more of my offers and more about me, and my socials are on there as well. So yeah, I am an ADHD business coach and mentor, and I specifically work with ADHD ND entrepreneurs, and I help them grow their business the ADHD friendly way that will work for your brain. No hustle culture, no burnout to get results, none of that. It's possible to get results without having to burn yourself out. It's not very easy to figure that out on yourself. There's lots of trial and error. Even having a coach, there's lots of trial and error of having to figure that out. But yeah, that's basically what I do and how you can find me.
Yay, awesome. Thank you so much for being here and for agreeing to chat with me. It's such a specific niche that I think, people are looking for support in. So I'm just so glad to be able to create this resource together. So I'm curious, when you started your first business, when you were like, okay, I think it's time for me to start a business, did you know you had ADHD?
No, I didn't. I remember having like the longing of like starting a business, starting something of my own. And I think I had like friends who I were seeing like starting their own thing. And I was like, man, I really want that. I really want to create something and make it the way I want and help people. One thing I was always passionate about was supporting small businesses. Like, I don't know why, but that was just always maybe because my dad is an entrepreneur. And so I'm like, I know what supporting a small business does, like literally paid for groceries for me as a kid. So I was always like a champion for small businesses, and I would leave reviews. I was a review queen. I'd be like, I'd be helping businesses. I'd be shouting them out in Facebook groups. I did that with not asking for anything back. I just really wanted to give. So I ran across an ad about helping small business owners with Facebook ads. And so it was an ad about learning how to run Facebook ads and make that your business. So be like an ad consultant. And so I took that course. It was my first time like being like, oh my gosh, I think this is my route to entrepreneurship. And I had just had a baby, so I was still kind of going through postpartum funky stuff. But I also didn't want to go back to work. Like it was during my maternity leave that I realized, I'm not going back. So that's when I was like, okay, but then what do I do? Because I don't just want to stay home. Just not my personality to just stay home and not do anything other than be a mom. So yeah, I knew that I had to have like a passion, a focus, something where my creativity could run. And so I started that business, and there were lots of adjustments. I realized that I didn't like doing the ad stuff, and I actually wasn't really that great at it. I still had I had 2 customers that it didn't work out well with, but the last customer, what I did realize is that I was helping them with their marketing and their social media, because I'm like, look, in order for these ads to really perform, we need to work on your organic marketing and
Right.
like all of the other but this stuff on your website sends the wrong message. And so I started really dissecting the whole picture, which is definitely not what I was being paid for, but just where naturally I went.
Yeah.
And I realized that I was really good at that stuff. And my client noticed that I was really good at that stuff. And they said, okay, let's stop the ads. Can you run our social media? And so I was like, sure. And so I started doing that. And so it was kind of all like accidental, kind of just all came together, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did that. I was a social media manager for like about a year. I ended up having 10 clients. I was booked. I had a wait list. I was at my max. And as you could probably guess, I was hella burned out.
Yeah.
Super burned out. And my mind was like posting times and captions and the hashtags. Oh my God. So it became way too much. And I hear this so much from other done for you service creators. There's lots of tricky stuff there that you have to really like manage yourself. And yeah. So
Oh my gosh.
in the end, I was like, and that's when I discovered. So sorry, I didn't answer your question. I discovered that I had ADHD because I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Like,
okay. Yeah.
Yes, it's great money, but I'm so burned out. I literally have no life.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I'm so good at teaching social media marketing. So I was like, I'm going to go into coaching and coaching people to do their own social media, and also kind of helping that kind of move from the done for you to coaching. Nice. And in the midst of that, I got my first client, had my first session with him. I was so excited. Nice. He was a perfect client. And then I did what all of us good A+ students kind of want to do. And I sat down and I had my notebook and I was like, let me take some notes, see some pointers. What did I do good? What did I do bad? Kind of watch back the replay video, see how I can help myself as a coach. And when I did that, Genesis, I was mortified. Oh no. Because I was like, there's no way in heck that's what I look like. That's what I do when I talk.
That was the worst. I hate rewatching videos. I don't do it. Like, I don't even listen to my own podcast half the time. I can't.
Yeah. I got like firsthand embarrassment, but like of myself.
At yourself. Oh, that's the worst. Shit.
But it was so bad because I would start points and never come back to them. Sure. I was talking a million miles an hour. My hands were doing everything. I mean, I'm Hispanic, so naturally that happens. But I was so hyper excited. I barely let my client talk. Oh man, it was a mess. So yeah, as I was watching that, I went, oh my God. Like I literally was so shocked that was me. Oh my God. I'm like, that's not normal. I'm like, this is not normal. Like if this were someone else, they'd be giving me anxiety, just their whole energetic chaos. Yeah. So I was like, it almost looks like as if I had ADHD. Like, but I don't have ADHD.
It almost looks
like. I was like, what the heck? But I'm like, but I'm a girl.
That girl's got ADHD.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Literally. So I was like, what? There's no way. And well, of course we all had the stereotype of ADHD and the little boy that can't stay still in class and always got in trouble. And I was like, no, I was a good kid. I was teacher's pet. I never got in trouble. I could say I was actually way too quiet. So yeah, it was definitely harder for my ADHD to be easier to detect as a kid, which is the story of most, I would say. I almost don't want to use the word most, but actually most of the ADHD women.
Yes. So I don't know very many women that were diagnosed as kids. Like I think I read a book that was called ADHD in Women, and it specifically talked about like all of the mindset shit that we end up having to deal with as adults because we figured out really smart coping strategies, and like girls are socialized to behave certain ways that hide it, we go internal with it. And so that makes a lot of sense. And
Yes.
how fascinating that you literally witnessed yourself and were like, there might be a diagnosis in here.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way. So, of course, as soon as I finished watching that, picked my jaw off from the floor, and I immediately went to Google and put ADHD in women. And then I started reading all those top articles, looking at the list of symptoms, and then was like, oh my God, I think I have ADHD.
Right.
So that's when it opened up the rabbit hole of what? ADHD? Me?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I looked that up. I did, of course, what every ADHDer does, which is hyper focus
Oh,
on things.
yes.
And so I hyper focused on this. And I was like, I have to know everything about ADHD.
Yep.
And so then the next step was getting formally diagnosed, because I'm like, I know myself. I feel like if I don't have a formal diagnosis, I'm just going to doubt myself, and I'm just going to think, if it's not this, then it has to be something worse, because I definitely have something going on,
Yeah.
And I really was happy that I pushed for getting a diagnosis, because it really was helpful.
Yeah.
Just in the validation of knowing that, like, okay, my brain has just been struggling with these things.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that at that point I was like about to hit a year into my first year of entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And that first year did not go great.
Yeah.
um, it did not go great. And I hired coaches. I was in programs. I wasn't doing it all by myself.
Yeah.
I had help. I was learning, consuming so much information. I was not just like not doing stuff. I was being super proactive and trying to help myself.
Yeah.
But I was noticing that so many things were hard for me to do. And I was like, I don't know why this is so hard. Like, I don't even know how to help myself. I don't even think I was looking to help myself. I was just like, I guess my whole life I had accepted that waking up early is just so hard for me. I've never been able to do that. I can't even do that. I would try all the different little strategies, and then it wouldn't work. So then I would just make up my mind,
All that like bullshit, get up at 5 a.m. if you want to be a business owner, like hustle culture. Ugh, no, that is the opposite of what we need. Like less rules, less rigidity.
It was so bad. So yeah, so I did go that full year. It was a mess. But once I truly feel that once I got diagnosed, it really helped me put things in pieces and then go, okay, I've been going about this the wrong way, because I haven't even really been, I didn't know what my brain needed or why it was struggling. Knowing the why it was struggling was so important for me to like better understand myself.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I similarly was in business for, let's see, it was 18, 19, 20, so like almost 3 years without knowing. And at that point, like I'd earned a master's, I made it through like lots of success professionally in higher ed, was a professor, and was also starting a business. Like all of these things objectively like seemed like I was doing okay, but internally like I was not sleeping. And if I was sleeping, it was like 2 hours here, wake up for an hour with a shit ton of creative ideas, 2 more hours, wake up panicked because I didn't sleep enough, 2 more hours. Like it was bananas because I didn't know how to like throttle my interests, which I think is where, why I started the podcast. And the brand's been Sustain Your Passion the whole time, but the podcast is really about figuring out like, how do you figure out and create systems around sustaining your passion for your work? Because whatever it is, whether it's, I've come to realize I have ADHD and OCD, and I did know like when I got started that I had PTSD. And so I was comfortable acknowledging like, okay, I'm an anxious girly. I have traumas that affects me, but I didn't understand what that meant. Like I needed to be doing to support myself and to like actually manage things to sustain the interest and the, the hyper focus that gets going here and there. And so then once I got the diagnosis, it was like, oh, I should learn about this. And it's almost like it gave me permission to read those articles. Like, the validation you mentioned, like, it's hard to go into spaces, and like your Facebook group is very niche down, right? And so even the idea of like, can I join this Facebook group? Like, I think I have ADHD, but I don't know yet. But it's on the
Yeah.
other side of like courageously going into those communities that you're able to see like, oh, these are my people. Like
Yes.
they're talking about the same things I'm talking about. Like maybe I do have ADHD. Like maybe I need to learn some of these
Yeah.
systems. Even just that barrier of a title and a diagnosis can be so difficult to overcome, especially when you're an entrepreneur, because you don't have colleagues to be like bouncing the idea off of.
Yeah.
Like they don't see how you work. And so you kind of are just on your own figuring out, do I need to look at this or not? And so for you, was it
Right.
easy for you to talk to someone to get diagnosed? Like insurance wise, I feel like I hear a lot that like that can be a big barrier for people. For me, it was fairly
Yeah, it
easy.
was.
Insurance covered it pretty well, but what was it like for you?
Oh wow, no, I was told that in my insurance. So I'm in Texas, so I was told
Okay.
here that insurances don't cover an ADHD assessment, so I would have to
Um,
go all out of pocket. And then when I started calling around, they're like, "Yeah, our assessment is $900." I was like,
oh
"Okay, no."
my
You
gosh.
know, I was just starting my business. I'm like, I don't have
Yeah.
$900 for that. And
Right.
also when I really already feel like I have it, like I don't really need you to tell me, but I kind of wanted you to tell
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was difficult. And when I got diagnosed, the pandemic had just started.
Okay.
Um, so it had just started, and it was funny because I was calling around, and because it had just started and everyone's mental health went to crap,
Yeah.
because it was scary, everyone was booked. They're like, no, sorry, we can't take any
Oh,
new clients right now. We are booked. And I was like, oh my goodness. So it was kind of difficult to get it. The route that I went was with a therapist, a counselor, and she was actually like ADHD was her focus.
nice.
She had ADHD herself.
Mm,
And so she did the Diva 2.0 assessment, I think it's
okay.
called.
Gotcha.
And Diva stands for something, but I don't know what it stands for.
Yeah. I'm
um,
assuming it's not diva like you're a diva, but
right. Definitely not like
right.
actually Diva. But you can actually Google it and
Mm,
find the assessment yourself. And if you
cool.
want to look at some of the questions. Um, but yeah, so, and that test was cool because it helps you figure out what type of ADHD you have, inattentive or
Mm,
hyper or combo.
mhm.
So we found that I was definitely the inattentive one.
Okay.
And I passed that test with flying colors for the first time. So yeah.
Wow, that's wild. And so once you had the diagnosis and you were, exploring things and probably recalibrating some, what came next? Like how did you end up deciding to niche down to help other ADHDers?
Yeah. So I did that. And then I was like, okay, so I definitely have ADHD, confirmed that. So I really just started to learn more. I wanted to just help myself. Like I really was, at first, I wasn't even thinking business. I was just thinking, oh my goodness, this is why things have felt so hard for
Mm,
most of my life. And I haven't had the words to describe why they were
yeah.
hard. But now I have those words, and now I know, like there are so many things that would happen years ago that you'd be like up at night thinking, oh man, why did I react that way? I don't understand, and it's like kind of a bit of that rumination of something that happened years ago.
Yeah.
And there were so many times like my brain was like focused on figuring that out, because that was like, it was like a red flag that I'm like,
Mm,
why did I react still? So once I discovered I had ADHD, I'm like, I kind of started going back to all those big question mark red flags about myself
yeah.
that I'm like, why the heck? And then they all start to make sense.
Oh,
So
it's so peace inducing to like find acceptance that like,
yeah,
yeah, that's just how I work. That's just I'm gonna
right.
do that. That's okay.
Yeah, I think also like, and when you look at things that you did years ago, oh my gosh, and you've heard that like ADHD brains, we mature later.
Yep.
And so developmentally, I think it's supposed to be at 25, your prefrontal cortex is all the way
Right.
supposed to. I've been seeing something that they're kind of trying to change that to 30 now. I don't know, but
Right.
um but ADHDers are actually like 4 to 5 years behind that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so there were many times where I was like, oh my God, what the heck was I doing there? Cringy. But yeah, I definitely was okay, I need to learn this for myself. And so I bought all of the books, read all of the articles online too. I went into the medical journals. I was really trying to grasp everything. I went full nerd mode. And yeah, and so I was learning everything. And so finally, once I kind of went through okay, this is what's going to help me. This is what this means for myself. I remember having that light bulb go off. Oh my God, this is why business has been so hard. Because I've been approaching it the way the coaches and the way I'm seeing everybody else do. And then when I try that, it doesn't work for me, or I have so much resistance towards some icky strategies that no one else was saying they were icky, but they felt so icky to me, you know? So that's when I was like, oh, okay. So this is like the key for me. Like, in order for me to succeed in business, I really have to start thinking about and prioritizing my brain and my ADHD. So then I went, okay, this was all an experiment for myself. Up to this point, I had not even thought about making this my business. I was just like so focused on myself.
Yeah. Your own
and
healing.
I was like, yeah, my own healing, having my own answers. So I was like, I'm going to take all of the classic business advice that is taught out there in the business world, and I'm going to put that through an ADHD comb and like swift through it, and then trial and test different strategies and see, okay, if we tweak this because the ADHD brain prefers this, then maybe this will be an ADHD friendly strategy. And I literally went into like scientist mode, into just like creating my own formulas for me to help me succeed better. And based off of the things I was learning about ADHD brains. And then of course, Genesis, I'm sure this is true for you, but of course, once I discovered my ADHD diagnosis, then I went down the line on all my friends and my family. And I was like, oh yeah, so-and-so definitely has ADHD, and so-and-so definitely has, and then I realized genetic. All of my besties were also like the people I really connected with the most also had ADHD.
We find each other, like we do. Nobody else sticks around.
Yeah, it was so funny to see that. And then I almost felt like, oh my gosh, am I just wanting to diagnose everyone with ADHD? And I'm like, no, genuinely, I just kept ADHD people around me.
Yeah, totally. We can keep up with like 5 conversations at once. It's so fun.
You can tell the difference. You can tell the difference. Yeah. So I was also learning about that, but I'm like, okay, but so-and-so has ADHD, but their ADHD kind of comes up this way. And so then I was like, started looking for a community of ADHD entrepreneurs. And for me, it kind of was important to find other women entrepreneurs. I think probably because I had seen the marketing bros and like that type of male entrepreneurship. And I'm like, yeah, some of y'all strategies is just complete trash for me.
Yeah.
So I really wanted something that was a little bit more relatable and safer a bit too. And I scrounged the internet. I looked on Facebook, on Instagram, nearly wanted to get onto my MySpace. Like,
oh my God, MySpace.
There has to be a community somewhere where.
Jessi, wait. How old are you? How did you know MySpace? I'm 31.
Okay, so I'm turning 30 this year.
Okay, fine, fair. I was thinking you were younger, so the MySpace just threw me off.
No, I was definitely in my MySpace days, girl. That's how I met my husband, actually. I met him on MySpace. Yeah.
No way.
Well, because we went to the same middle school, so we had like. So I had seen him in middle school, but we never talked. So
you kept your eye on him.
Girl, I almost tried to remember. I tried to put forget your password on the MySpace, try to log back into my MySpace, try to find a community for ADHD entrepreneurs.
That was so funny. I mean, we were the ones coding our fucking MySpace pages.
Oh, yeah.
Music and whatever icons and stuff. God, so many hours.
It was so fun. It was so fun to personalize things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I couldn't find a space that I was looking for, because I'm like, okay, I know what all the other entrepreneurs do. I need to know what the ADHD entrepreneurs are doing. Like, how are they managing their ADHD and running their business? What strategies have they found work for them? Like, I was really wanting that for myself. And this is back in like 2020, 2021. Okay. And so back then there literally was nothing. I found some Facebook groups that were ADHD entrepreneur Facebook groups that were like abandoned, like there hadn't been a post in there for a whole year. like not active. So that's when I was like, oh my goodness, okay, I think I'm gonna have to start it because I want it for myself. There's nothing else out there. I had started Facebook groups before and had helped my clients manage Facebook groups before. So I had some experience with that. So I was like, I'm just going to start it myself and see where it goes.
Yeah.
And it went.
Right.
It took off. It went. I realized that, of course, as I kind of expected, that I wasn't suspected, I wasn't the only one that was looking for it. Because as soon as people found out that there was a group for us, everyone started flocking, and I was getting messages like every single day of people just thanking me for opening the group, and because they felt so supported, and this was the missing piece, this is what they needed. But I had nothing to sell for the first 6 months of that Facebook group. And at that point we got to like 5,000 members.
Wow.
It grew so rapidly.
That is really quick.
Quicker than I could manage. So I had to get the mod. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't keep up.
Yeah.
I was just trialing all the different strategies that I was finding that were working for me and my clients. Or no, were working for me at that point because I didn't have clients yet. But then I just started sharing them in the group just for free. No agenda. And people started asking me questions. And then I started, helping them for free until at one point I was like, okay, now I'm starting to, there's a lot of time being spent on this. And so that's when it kind of, again, just like a business grew out of it. And I just started sharing the things that were working for me. And that's how I became the niche. And by this point, there was no ADHD entrepreneurship niche. People were not talking about having ADHD and entrepreneurs in entrepreneurship. And actually the label ADHD Business Coach was not like, when I Googled it back then, because I was looking for a coach for myself. I'm like, I need a coach that will teach me. And I could not find anyone that had that niche. I can find ADHD coaches for professionals. And I'm like, yeah, but you guys, that's like, you guys are also coaching corporate people. I'm looking for someone that like has their business and like is in the nitty gritty, Could not find anyone. That literally that wasn't a niche, that wasn't a career, that wasn't a title that was out there yet.
That makes sense. I feel like TikTok
so I was like,
helped.
TikTok definitely helped.
Did you use TikTok like at the start of the pandemic?
I did, yes. And I definitely like was learning from other ADHD creators in the early stage of that. And seeing, hearing people talk about ADHD in women. But so essentially I became the coach that I was really hoping to find when I couldn't find it. And I think that like lit a fire under my bum where I was like, you know what? I can't hire. I was ready to like give people my money to coach me. And I couldn't find anyone that was there that had done it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm starting it. I'm trailblazing it because it needs to happen. And I'm not the expert yet. And I was very transparent with people on that. But now almost 4 years later, it's amazing to see what that little idea, so for those of you that just have an idea and think it's not going to go anywhere, my Facebook group started as just a silly idea. And I believed in myself enough to go, you know what? I think I have the skills to do this. I'm just going to open it. Maybe other people will want it. And here we are.
I love that. Oh, that's such a good reminder. I have an episode way back. I think it's probably like episode 1 or 2. That's like, who am I to be a coach? And it's that idea of like, anyone can be a coach. It is a choice. Like there's not some mystical, like internal personality, I don't know, other ordained like ability, but it's a commitment. And it is a choice to say, like, I see that there is a need and I want to help others. And coaching can be the method for doing that work. Because like you could have also decided to sell like printables or journals or do course creating or something, but like coaching specifically as the method to help people sustain their goals themselves. Like, it's just such a beautiful way of creating the type of impact that I think a lot of people who grew up, especially if you were misdiagnosed or undiagnosed with ADHD as a kid, like feeling othered, feeling like you didn't belong anywhere. And coaching can really be a method for fulfilling that, and fixing that I don't belong in the goal space that
Yeah.
I'm trying to achieve. And so I just love that you opened up that space. And yeah, as mentioned, in my intro, personally, I have found so many great connections. Like, I found my bookkeeper from your group. I've found like lifelong friends. I've found clients. And it's shocking to see when you know what you're looking for, how easy it is to find other people that get you and to
Yeah.
feel, seen and understood. So I'm so glad and like sad you went through that like stressful year, but also so grateful that you took that stressful year and decided like, this shouldn't happen to me or anyone else anymore. What do we do to fix
Yes,
it? And got busy
exactly.
working. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's all part of our story, right? Like it's
Mhm.
what you do with it. And I think for me, I think I was so motivated because I'm like, I can see how other people are succeeding. Like I know I can do it. Like I
Mhm.
know I can do it. If they can do it, I can do it. But then I couldn't do it. And then
Right.
as much as I tried, it was like, not tall enough. No, couldn't reach it. Always fell short, I felt like. And so
Mm,
that was frustrating to continue to like know that I had the potential for it, but not
mm,
being able to help myself get there was so frustrating.
yeah.
And then cue everyone's teacher report that said has a lot of potential, but you know,
Focus.
yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, story of my life, right?
Right.
But I was so passionate about what I was doing and also like building something for myself. And
Mhm.
yeah, that I knew there had to be a way. So once I discovered the ADHD, I was like, oh my gosh,
Mm,
this is what I have been needing my whole life. But also now for this business that I'm really passionate about growing.
right.
So yeah, I think it
So
really is taking the hard times and then going, all right, what can we do with it?
totally. Yes. I think about like, what do you want to do with that pain? At some point when you
Yeah,
experience pain, you got to make a decision. Like, are we done looking at this or do we want to transform it into a purpose?
right,
And
right.
whatever that purpose can be, like, the purpose can be that talk kinder to your kids. That's a purpose for your pain.
Yeah,
Great. The purpose could be that it's something you bring up at work and start, a community organization. It could also be that you can build a whole ass business around it. Like, it's your choice. And
yeah, I
I,
love that.
yeah, so happy that you got here and that we found each other too. So thanks for starting your Facebook group.
Yeah.
I'm curious, can you tell folks a bit about like what are some of your overall tips? Like, if you were thinking about how to manage your day as an ADHD business owner, what are some of your most common tips you give away to clients and people in the Facebook group?
Okay, so one of mine when it comes to like approaching your to-do list, the
Mm,
infamous to-do list, right?
yes, never
Um,
ending.
so I think oftentimes we want people to just tell like, what's the formula? How do I do it? Just give me the 1, 2, 3, and I will follow that 1, 2, 3, right? And how much I wish that there was just an easy, you know, cutthroat answer to that. But there's so many factors because we're all so different. We all have different personalities. We all have different body chemistry. So it really is figuring out like, okay, well, when are you the most awake and like cognitive
Mm,
functioning? When is that the best time for you? Because for
mm,
some people it's in the morning, but
mm.
cool, that's for them. For you, it
Yeah.
might be at night.
Mm,
So if you can lean into doing that and you have the space and opportunity to do that, then do that. I have so many clients and so many people in the Facebook group where their working hours are literally at night and that's when they work. And they've given themselves permission to do that and it works for them and it's great. So, give yourself permission to do what
mm,
works best for your brain. I think is one of the coolest things. And so when I'm approaching my to-do list,
mm,
one of the things that the ADHD brain is really interested in, we are very why driven,
mm, mhm.
right? So don't just tell me to clean the dishes because I don't really want to do that, especially if you're telling me to do it.
Yes,
Um,
exactly. You're gonna flare up my PDA.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But if you tell me, can you clean the dishes because so and so just texted me that they're 5 minutes away and they're coming to cook. I'm
Mm.
gonna go, oh, okay, you know what? I'm gonna clean those dishes right away. Now I have
Yeah.
no problem doing it. While a second ago, when I thought you were just telling me to do something, there was a big issue. So with our to-do list, if you go check emails, respond to VA, and you put post on Instagram, right? Let's just say those are the 3 things you put. All of those sound boring as heck, sound like a demand, sound like, oh my gosh, that's going to take me forever and ever and ever. So your brain is already repulsed and is going to want to avoid those things.
Yes. And all of a sudden, like, everything else is going to sound way more fun than doing
all of
the
a
things you need to
sudden,
do.
unloading the dishwasher sounds way more fun than doing that.
Than the business task, yes. Cleaning that random corner of your closet, yeah, that needs to be done.
I saw a TikTok video of how to do it, so I'm just gonna do it right now.
Exactly.
It's bad. So so to help our brain, one of the little things that I do is you can, depending on what's easier for you, but if you go write down those 3 things the way that I wrote down, and then by them you go, okay, what is the bigger why of this thing? So you said you need to check your emails. Well, why would you need to check your emails? Well, if you're a business owner, that's customer service, isn't it? If you're getting emails from your clients, or people are wanting to interview you, or that's customer service, that's kind of your reputation now a little bit. Right. So, and I value customer service for my business. That's something that's a big value of my business. Right. So now if I put stellar customer service, now I'm way more interested in doing that because it's reminding me the why behind it. You know, if I put respond back to my VA, that goes into my value of like being a good leader, having good leadership with my team. I don't want to leave my VA hanging and waiting for me. I want to show her good leadership and have her produce the best results with my guidance in it, right? So I'm going to do that. Posting on social media, that's not just something we have to do because it's an evil necessary, right? And it really does feel that way. But it's getting the word out of my business, helping me connect with the ideal client. So impact, supporting someone. If I don't do that, then they never find out about me. So when you reframe it that way and you put the why behind the task and you literally write it down on your to-do list, it's so much easier to look at that and go, okay, fine. I want to do that. That's important. It's important.
Right. That makes so much sense. And, you know, I have been avoiding getting an eye exam for like 2 weeks. Like I need to do it. It's been a while and I can tell my prescription's off and I fucked up my glasses. So like I need to buy some new ones, but I don't want to without the correct prescription. Right. I've been kicking this forward for weeks. And then finally I sat down yesterday and was like, wait, what is doing this going to help me do? Like I coached myself, like what you're describing, right? Like this is what I do to my clients is I ask them, like, how is that going to change your life? Like, what will that let you do differently? Same thing as like, okay, you want to check your emails so you can connect with people, right? Okay, you want to respond to your VA so you can what? Like, what's the reasoning there? And once I remembered, like, so I can see the leaves on the trees better, it was like, okay, fine. I'll book a freaking eye exam. Like that's much more motivating than like, so I have a prescription to order glasses with. Like, what is that?
So boring.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So boring. Like what? Yeah. What's the why? What's the motivator? That makes a lot of sense. And I feel like it's a common misconception for folks around ADHD. Like we just need help with our motivation. It's not even that like we don't carry the ability to be motivated. We just don't have the same like fire starters as other people. And we need a different match to, you know, get us moving.
Exactly. Yeah. The motivation. So if that doesn't work, then the question continues, okay, well, what will motivate me to do this task? Right. And sometimes it's like, okay, I could literally do that tomorrow or the next, like, that's not
like there's not an actual motive.
There's not a rush here. There's no, you don't have to force it, you know, but when it's like something that you like really have to do and you're like, no, I really have been putting this off. Like I really need to do this week. Then your next question becomes, okay, well, how can I motivate myself to do that? And so brains really like novelty. Our brains like novelty. They like play. They like competition, you know, so then it's trying rewards, trying one of those different things. Can I make it a competition? Can I put a 10-minute timer and see if I can get it done in 10 minutes? Oh yeah. Can I make it in a new way?
I love that.
You're like, you know what? standing here in my office every day is such a bore, but I really need to like fill out this about me for this podcast thing, let me take my laptop outside because it's a beautiful day and I'm going to type this from outside. Novelty. If you just change the way you do something, it's exciting for your brain and it's helpful to do. Or I'm going to take myself to a little cute coffee shop, get my little latte and type, and it'll be a vibe. And now you can get yourself to do it. So it's really finding what's going to work best for your brain and not just believing that like, this is just always going to be hard for me. Or, although there's truth to that, but there's things you can do to help yourself. So sometimes focusing on that is more productive and can get you better results than just laying on the couch.
Right, like staring at the to-do list angrily.
Yes, which we all do, and I still also do, but I can pull my pants up and get myself to do something,
Right. Yeah, I feel like it might always be that you have the same challenge, but maybe it's less hard over time because you know how to get to the thing that'll help you get moving faster the more you practice it. Like I find that with clients by the end of our work together, they're saying things like, I asked myself, what would Genesis ask me? And it's like, perfect. Like you have learned the series of questions that can get you out of ruts. And so now you can implement it faster, but that takes time. And as you mentioned earlier, like trial and error, that most people don't give themselves the freedom and grace to learn messily. And so I think coaching is such a great space for that practice to happen. So thank you for being here, for starting your business, for seeing that you weren't the only one struggling and putting out a hand for other people that were also in the same boat, like similar timeline as well, figuring out things so that now I imagine there's, probably somebody who knows they have ADHD, decides they want to be an entrepreneur, and then finds your Facebook group and doesn't have to go through the, like you went through the first year, maybe the first 3 years of like, I want this to work so bad. Why is it so hard? And hopefully figure it out a little sooner and figure out their way so that they can sustain their passion for their business and get, to the other side of actually helping people and whatnot. I know we also have like so many other things we wanted to talk about, but I'm noticing we've been chatting for a little while. So I think maybe if we could come back to some like comorbid experiences and like diagnoses on another episode, that's fun if you're open to it. And today we talked about growing a business with ADHD, like getting that one settled, and then we can talk about, what other things you've discovered over time. In closing, could you tell folks about what you offer these days and where they can find you? I remembered to ask.
Yay! Yeah, of course. So you can find me in my Facebook. Would be best to get into the Facebook group and then you can easily find me through there. And that's the Facebook group name is ADHD Female Entrepreneurs Community New. It's the one that has a cover art. The other one is the old Facebook group and it's not active. And you can find me through there, or you can find me on Instagram at ADHD Owned. And my website is also www.adhdfemaleentrepreneurs.com. And I do have one-on-one coaching spots right now. And I also have my group program that is open year round. And that is called the ADHD Owned Academy. And it walks you through the 4 core things that you need to focus on and work through to really thrive in ADHD entrepreneurship, which is your mindset, your productivity and ADHD approach to that, your business foundations, and then your marketing and sales. So
I love that. It's so comprehensive. Beautiful. Cool. Thanks so much for your time, Jessi. And everybody go join the Facebook group. I hope to talk to you there. Send me a message if you have any follow-up questions from this episode or similar topics you want to hear about. It sounds like Jessi would be open to coming back to share with us some more. So slide into my DMs. Let me know what you thought of this episode. And I'll be back next week with more. Thanks again, Jessi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Sustain Your Passion podcast. If this episode helped you gain a bit more clarity, courage, or confidence, please share it with your friends on social media or in a text. It would mean the world to me. Thanks in advance for sharing this episode. I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.